This video is made for adult collectors because by watching this, you dare to be stupid.
GARRRRRBAGE, one of the more obscure yet fan-favorite and memorable characters. He is a very interesting character, sort of being a supporting, one-off type in all of his main roles, both of which are tied to the legend himself, Weird Al Yankovic. And always getting some damn good figures. Keyword being solid because there's only 5 mainstream figures, all of which are surprisingly different, even though, yes, they do all turn into motorcycles, aside from the animated lad. But the way that they go about existing is shockingly different from one another, especially with the two you see before you being the Generations Reveal the Shield and Studio Series 86 copies, both of which are damn fine figures with some jank-ass articulation and transformations, very reminiscent of this character. He is that pull off amazing poses. These are also very befitting of his origins of being literally spawned from a planet made of junk. Generations GARRRRRBAGE has always been on my list of figures I've wanted, especially since I was a kid. The way he makes this jank-ass sort of redneck engineered robot mode turn into a sleek and aggressive dirt bike absolutely emits the type of character that he is usually portrayed as. The way this figure makes the original G1 design look more aggressive and like a biker does this figure so much justice as well. He comes with a sort of battle axe thing that has an automorph gimmick, which turns into an exhaust pipe, as well as a thing that resembles vaguely a pizza cutter and or the Bloodborne whirligig saw. It's quite fun and holds to the universal rule of Transformers being give cool robots toy a melee weapon to make it even cooler, which also due to a gimmick of the old generation's days can clip onto his back for storage like this. By taking the figure and taking the clip and simply clipping it onto the figure as such, thus causing it to stay where it really needs to be. He also has this black rub symbol, which is a gimmick of, well, the key gimmick of the line which he originates from, being Reveal the Shield. If you hold it as such under your finger, it will eventually end up revealing an Autobot insignia right here in the black parts. As you can see for this head sculpt, he has some really damn good light piping, but due to the fact that his eyes are painted, it does not work unfortunately. The paint and sculpt on the head mold is fantastic though, really giving the essence of his G1 sculpt, but making it more aggressive and like a modern motorcyclist would be depicted. Depending on how you feel about facial hair on Transformers though, it could be pretty weird seeing a motorcycle man have a little mustache that turns into a motorcycle. But I personally love the facial hair on this specific character because it fits him super well with his whole character. The sculpt on the chest and back as well are phenomenal. Hasn't really went the extra mile to do this guy justice, especially with the only hollow bits being on the back of the legs here. In terms of articulation, he has most, if not all of the stuff you would want and find on a typical modern figure, which is insane considering the time period he came out in, being around the Revenge of the Fallen toy line, when it wasn't fully standardized to have an actually articulated figure, let alone a waist swivel and a slight ab crunch. The rest of the articulation is pretty standard now, but is still amazing. His head is on a ball joint that can look insanely far up and can look down as well at a decent angle. Almost no head tilt though when looking forward, but due to the neck, it can tilt for some decent side poses such as you see here. It can also rotate side to side, but as you can see, the neck panels here and here get in the way of the little goatee right here, So it does make for quite an interesting challenge when posing his head. His shoulders are on ball joints and can go 360 degrees like that, in and out movement like that, on this shoulder at least. Biceps are on a swivel. Elbow joint, you get a 180-degree bend, which is way more than even most modern figures. So this guy is very expressive with the elbows, and with the hands, he has the typical conversation hands, which also have a slightly weird forward-facing angle and a wrist swivel, which once again lead to some very dynamic poses. On the right shoulder, however, there is, as you can see, this massive wheel of scrap just hanging off of him, but this can be posed to get out of the way. As for the articulation here, it doesn't go out quite as far as this shoulder, but it still gets the job done. As I said before, there is a waist swivel and an ab crunch at the same time, which really do justice to this figure, being a sort of lanky and purposely awkwardly proportioned figure. The legs can get forward about that far, back that far. So as you can see, really articulated there. Legs go out to the side that far. The right joint, however, on the knee, bends roughly below 90 degrees, and the right foot has a ball joint in here, which causes you to be able to pivot the foot pretty much however you want. The left knee, the right knee, can not go straight, however, due to the kibble right here. That being said, though, you get the same outward movement, thigh swivel here. This knee bends really far back, and if you mistransform the front of this one slightly, then they both bend really far back, almost 180 degrees, which is way much more than we were initially could even ask for at this time. Foot here also has the same deal of general articulation, but it has an extra deal in the fact that due to the transformation, it crunches up a little bit, meaning you can pull off some dynamic poses with that. So overall, the articulation on this guy is amazing and even outdoes some modern figures, especially where the waist and head are concerned. As for the Studio Series A6 counterpart, how does he stack up? The overall aesthetic, being purely panel line G1, is a stark contrast from the more stylized approach Reveal the Shield took. But I feel it does this figure justice, since when combined with the play features this beautiful little junk boy packs, leads to some very expressive poses, which don't get hindered as much as Revealed the Shield, since he's super clean all around, as you could see there from the poses that I just put on the screen. Once again, being amazing with the back, and since figures are 3D objects and instead of cardboard cutouts and shit, that obviously makes for a much more pleasant posing experience. For the accessories on this guy, as you can see in his head and on his legs, those are the accessories. The figure is the accessory. But all jokes aside, he comes with the sort of same pinwheel whirligig pizza cutter as his Reveal the Shield counterpart, but this time it does the pizza cutter thing. As for posability, this heap of trash packs some seriously scrappy fighting poses into his clean aesthetic. His head is on a ball joint, and sorry, 1 second, I need to just straighten him out for this. His head's on a ball joint, can look up that far, can look down, not much at all, because right here, he has a goatee, which gets severely in the way of his posing. Can't tilt it all either, but can look side to side really fucking well. In terms of his shoulders, they are on the same universal 360 ball joint that not ball joint, the shoulder mushroom joint that most figures have. Arms go out surprisingly far. He can do a praise the sun emote, as you can see here. Another fun thing about this figure too is they molded some molding right here to make it look more natural when you bend his arms. Also, you can get a forbidden butterfly joint by untabbing the chest here and folding the arm out. And so another fun transformation pose that is only accessible due to a transformation step. His biceps can swivel, elbows bend, wrists are on swivel, and the wrists are actually one of my favorite parts about this figure because they pack some seriously nice articulation to them due to this transformation step of bending down. So as you can see here with his axe, if I just casually do that, it makes it look way more leaned into in the fight pose than this. The waist is on a swivel here. Can do an ab crunch way far down, much more than traditional Transformers. Once again, due to a transformation hinge. Legs can kick out that far. Sorry, I need to remove this. Legs can kick out that far, back that far, and are ratcheted to be out that far. So once again, some seriously solid poses, but this one is more traditional in its fighting style, as well as the knees can bend just below 90 degrees there. 90 degrees there, if you're into that shit. And also his feet, due to transformation, can bend forward like that, and up like that. As well as having the legendary ankle rocker pivots that modern Transformers are known for. So overall, this man packs some seriously solid fight poses in him. One of my personal favorites being more traditional shield and sword type fighting, where he uses his wheel as a shield. So overall, this guy poses more realistic and humanoid than his exaggerated and lankier proportioned cousin does in the Reveal the Shield line. But both still have some damn good articulation, which on this figure pairs well with the fact that you can put the wheels here, 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 and here to make for a more custom posing experience. And also, like Reveal the Shield, the axe can store on the back. However, it is not as simple and does have a more fiddly connection because of the fact that it is just a 3mm ports right there. But it still holds. You can even flick it. Doesn't really move that much, but it is more fiddly than the clip, be forewarned. Another fun fact too is this Transformer is one of the few Transformers in existence to have articulated nipples. So we will do with that what you will. As for some size comparisons, here is Siege Optimus Prime standing next to both of them proudly. As you can see, Voyager Wreck-Gar is roughly head-to-head with a modern Voyager. And then Reveal the Shield Wreck-Gar comes to about chest high, so as you can see, he's the size of a large modern Deluxe. Here is Deluxe Class Warp Cybertron Optimus Prime, who, as you can see, being these two at the same time, they released at the same time, relatively the same size. So he's the size of a modern 2010 era Deluxe Class, or the size of a large Deluxe Class now. Here they are posed alongside Voyager class Transformers Studio Series A6 Hot Rod. As you can see, Wreck-Gar is rightly a little bit taller than the Hot Rod due to him being a little bit more massive, and Wreck-Gar over here is roughly the same size as Hot Rod due to being a little more in line with his scale. Personally, I prefer the scaling between this Wreck-Gar and this Hot Rod just because of the fact that they danced together in the 86 movie. Here's one for all you old folks out there who may remember this one, but this is Titanium Series Deluxe Class War Within Optimus. As you can see, Deluxe Class, Voyager Class, scales pretty well. For more universal size comparisons, here they are next to some LEGO figures of Doomguy and Isabel. Doomguy is a custom minifigure that I made a long time ago. And finally, for final reference, here they are next to another modern Voyager, being Deluxe Class, not Deluxe Class, wow, my god, Voyager Class Thundercracker from the Siege line. As you can see, relatively solid scaling between these two right here. I love the scale of this one with modern Chuck figures. This one scales pretty good with modern Chuck figures too, but only if you are into the Studio Series, not the Studio Series, the 1986 movie aesthetic of Wreck-Gar being a bigger boy. Now moving on to transformation, I'm going to start with the Deluxe Class Wreck-Gar. So first what we're going to want to do, we're just going to want to take this weapon. We're going to want to fold it up like this and rotate it like that to the side. Make sure that the clip is in, so you're going to orient it like this and make sure the clip is vertical relative to this position. We will get more to that later. That will form the tailpipe of the vehicle mode. As for the robot, we are going to make sure that his arms are bended like so. I'll show you that again over here. We're going to move this tire out of the way, rotate the arm around, and bend it up just to get it out of the way. We are then going to just fold this back. On this back side, we are going to rotate the arm up 180 degrees like that. And then this tab will peg into this slot right here. You're going to tab it in there. Make sure the hand is rotated 90 degrees. No, 180 degrees. Second verse, just like the first, where we ensure that the hand faces inwards and is tabbed correctly. With that being done, we can now move to the head, and we can retire the head into the chest cavity by simply rotating up on this neck pivot right here. The head will store nicely there, and we can tab the arms. No, sorry. First, we need to come to the wheel, and we need to tab the wheel into itself via that series of tabs right there, which will then cause us to be able to put this, sorry, let me do that again for you. This tab will slot into this hole. We will put it like nice and just like that. Make sure the hands are rotated nicely, and then we can move to the feet. So you rotate it in such a way that this foot is matched up with this wheel. This back wheel, we'll put it aside. We don't really, actually, yeah, we will start with this back one. What we're going to do is simply rotate the foot, come under here, split him apart just like so. Make sure that the waist is oriented nicely, and then we will rotate the leg as such, collapse the feet in, and bend at this knee joints. After that, we come around to this side, unpeg the wheel from here, rotate it down, this peg, let me just orient that for you. This peg will go into this hole as such, and then we come around here, and we can start on the front wheel. The front wheel will do the same basic move in the sense that we can, if it'll work, pull this down. Let me just retab that in. We're going to rotate the front foot so that way the heel spur is facing forward. This will form the mud guard. And then you rotate. Sorry, that was hard to see. You come here, you grab here, and you rotate, and you pivot this down until this part is flush with this part. Now you come to the side, you rotate these so that way they tab into the slots that are going to be found right here. And then you simply, there is a double hinge right here, so you're going to accordion it until it is folded as such, and then you are just going to take these two tabs and tab them together right here. If it'll fucking let me. Yes, I forgot to mention. This knee joint will tap into the foot as such. Once all of that is done, there we go. Once all of that is done, we are then going to take our axe that we folded up earlier, and we are going to make sure that this clips onto a 3mm bar just in there. So we are going to simply take this, clip it into place as such, and then we are going to tab the middle of the axe into the middle of the wheel. Once we're done with that, we can come over here and we can kick its beautiful little kickstand down. And as you see, we have GARRRRR transformed into his dirt bike mode. As for Series A6, well, he is quite different and achieves quite a different alt mode, but both are fantastic. So for this transformer, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take off the wheels. Very important, by the way, not to do that, is remember that this wheel that moves in that part is the front wheel. What we're going to want to do with this figure is simply fold his wrists into orientation as such, come over here to the feet, rotate them down as such, come to the chest, untab as such, split apart, and we're going to rotate on this pivot hinge right here and pull it out like that. To which we are going to rotate the chest down, and we're going to just put that out of the way for future use. We're then going to butterfly the arms out, come down here, and my favorite part of the transformation is about to happen. So we're going to pull off the axe first, and then we are going to split the entire figure in half. And we are going to come in here, get as much of your finger in here as you can, and untab it. We're going to pull it out, and then we are going to bend this part of the torso back so it is flush with the seat. We are then going to take this part of the torso, fold it up, and here comes my favorite part. We're going to make the head turn into the motorcycle gauge right there. We're then going to clean up the chest by making it flush with this, at which point we can come down to the arms, rotate them, pull them in, straighten them out, and then we take the wheel, peg it into the inside pegs of these arms, and then this pegs into this hole on the forearms. After doing that, we can then come over here, clench the wheel together, come to the back, grab this wheel, station this wheel between the two knee ports, right there and there, close them shut, and then we rotate the knee backwards until it clicks. And we tab this hole in the foot to this peg on the shoulder. After all that's done, we just make sure it's nice and clear. We can then come to the backside of the once calves, now undercarriage of the motorcycle, and fold down the kickstands so that we now have both dirt bikes in their dirt bike modes. With this one, we can come back here and actually store the axe either like that or like that in either of these two ports. The bottom port being used for the 3mm port we use on the back, and is a little more flimsy than the longer ports of the top one. Now, as for their vehicle modes, you can see that they both have very, very, very shockingly, well, not shockingly, but very, very similar notes. You can see that both the G1 design and the Revenge of the Fallen Reveal the Shield design both contain a similar front parts, a similar glass shield. Both of them have these soft rubber plastic handlebars that can fit into 5mm ports, which is going to be great for posing figures on top of. Both of them are very motorcycle-y. As you can see, they got there really differently, but in both unique ways that are quite fun in each of their own rights. I like this one for its more simplistic and futuristic design that works so well with figures, such as if we bring in Studio Series 86 Hot Rod here, we can make him ride wreck Gar into battle if you so desire. And then as for this wreck Gar, we can simply take let's see, Deluxe Class Warpath from the Generations line, and we can have a little tank boy riding a little garbage boy. That's quite fun. Blammo. This one is more stable than this one because of the fact that this one has two kickstands as opposed to the one. Let's just straighten out the nipples there. Yeah, as you can see, both have phenomenal play features, being that they can be ridden by other figures and look damn good doing it. One thing to note, however, with both of these, is the fact that the weapon storage on this and on this are, once again, very similar in the sense that they both store in the back of the bike. But this one is more integrated, so if you lose this weapon, then your motorcycle mode is relatively ruined. Another fun fact is, if we look at Studio Series 86, you can see how his wheels are more sturdy. They lead to, if we fold it out, more clunky and very, very fun rolling. For the details, we have little saddlebags right here, nice little flat C right here, places for figures' feet to go. These handlebars are actually designed in such a way that they actually have 5mm ports on them, as opposed to reveal the shield having just handlebars that happen to fit in the 5mm ports. So it's a lot more stable. As you can see, the head fits back here, makes a part of the windscreen, and also forms the back gauge of like the speed gauges of the motorcycle, which is a really nice touch that harkens back to the original G1 toy. And then we have the handlebars, which can rotate like that. We have the nipple guns, which can rotate like that. So overall, this is a pretty damn solid, pretty futuristic motorcycle mode. Now bringing in, for a more direct look at the Reveal a Shield one. As you can see, this is a more Earth-inspired sort of dirt bike mode. More lean, more aggressive. The kickstand on this one folds up right there. And this one, as you can see, he's a lot thinner. He's a lot thinner than you'd expect, which is quite fun and leads to the overall like jank-ass design of this character, making it have such a fun design. There's a low light display right here. The engine block covers up the arms really fucking nicely, but you can still see the arms down there. Once again, making this jank-ass figure look jank as fuck. A really nice attention to detail I like is the front suspension right here being actually shown on a motorcycle transformer, which doesn't happen often, and I fucking love when it does. The handlebars, however, are a much weaker much more, not weaker, but like much more rubbery, much more thin plastic, which I actually quite like because of the fact of how you have to come in here and bend them. This makes them less likely to snap off due to pressure. So that is quite fun. You could also have a figure squishing right here to apply the brakes. There's also a little speed gauge right there. Love the flame decos on this one. This one, as you can see, is definitely more stylized and modern. Now coming into size comparisons, we are going to... First of all, we're going to fix that little fuck up. Then as you can see, here they are next to some Lego minifigures. Rolling in right here, we have the Titanium Series Optimus Prime, which is an upcoming review. And then, of course, we have Generations Deluxe Class Warpath next to one of his fellow old deluxe classes. As you can see, the scaling here is off as fuck because it is a dirt bike that is way too big to be considered a human dirt bike. And then for a more modern size comparison, we have Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. As you can see, there we go, that's a better. Here they are next to someone like Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, being a more modern deluxe class size reference. As you can see, once again, terribly massive, clearly designed to be ridden on by a Cybertronian. And then for a Voyager size comparison, here they are next to the Siege Tetrajet Seeker, which is the best Seeker in my opinion. As you can see, definitely both of them compare more to a Voyager sized figure than a deluxe class size figure, which is quite interesting considering this one in particular is quite thin, but yeah, they're more comparable to the size of a Voyager class than a deluxe class. And then for shits and giggles, here they are next to just an old Transformers gun, because why the fuck not? So for my final thoughts, I think these are both amazing figures, and if you can find them for a good price, they are so worth it. On eBay right now, this one is actually going for roughly $20 on the aftermarket, so he is a really good price. As to which one you should get, it's a hard point to say honestly. On one hand, SS86 Studio Series 86 is newer and has more G1 accurate design, making him fit in better with your G1 inspired figures of the more recent lines, such as Legacy and Studio Series 86 and the War for Cybertron trilogy, versus Reveal the Shield Wreck Guard being a more stylized and acquired taste to the G1 approach. Making it more aggressive and angly and sharp. He would pair more well with your older collections or your collections of more angly and stylized figures, such as the movie designs or the video game designs or even the Siege designs. He does pair really well with the Siege designs, but not so much the Earthrise or the more modern Legacy designs. That is to say, until around the point of Tar being released. It honestly depends solely on aesthetics here, which one you think looks better as to which one you should add to your collection, since both are surprisingly very, very comparable in almost all aspects. One of them having a $10 more price point, however, does make this one more affordable, but due to the way that he looks specifically, you might think it's worth it to spend the $10 extra to get this one. That concludes my little rant on the Garbage Boys, and thank you all so much for watching. You should totally hit the subscribe button if you want to keep seeing my flavor of reviews. Maybe even a like or a comment would be nice to help the algorithm or overlords choose me for their next victim. Willing patron. Until next time, I hope you sexy bastards have a good one and dare to be utterly stupid. Peace out, legends.